There.
Well, for those who are tuning in to our podcast, this is we did this, had a good conversation, and then we had technological glitches, and we have been on the computers talking back and forth for another 30 minutes on technological glitches. But we're here. This is going to be awesome
Take
because
two.
Right?
we have affected so much adversity to get here. So, Matt, why do we do this podcast? What's our purpose?
I'm beginning to wonder myself at this point. No, it's to reconnect with former people involved with Yak, whether it be the students or the people that helped out. Sometimes we have an off-the-cuff guest as well. But we tell stories, laugh, remember memories, good memories, bad memories, disturbing memories, and put it out there for people to watch and listen to.
Yep. And usually there's at least one apology. I have to make at least one apology per episode
Right.
for something. So I was learning just like you were. And there are many things I need to still apologize for. Sorry. So, so by the way, Matt, just so people know, right behind your head is your wedding picture. So we need to get back to that slide so people can see your wedding picture. So say
Okay.
something so Zoom will bounce back in, Matt.
That was our engagement picture, and we had people, we had people sign at our wedding.
Okay. What year was that?
2005.
Okay. What year did you get married, Josh?
2002. We just celebrated 24 years.
Okay.
Nice.
Congratulations to both of you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Thanks. I'm not trying to be vain or anything, but is there a reason my picture doesn't show up in the big square when I talk?
I actually see all three. So you can in Zoom, you can go up to there's a little icon that looks like a grid in the upper right, and you can
Oh,
choose what
yes.
kind of view you want. If you want the speaker grid, I did multi-speaker, and then you can also hide or enable your self view.
Dynamic
And Josh, am I
multi-speaker.
right that you can mute us? Like you could just talk the whole time and not take any
I
questions from us? And
I
we can just be
could.
Pretty
like,
much.
Yeah.
okay. So, all right. Well, we'll keep going here. What year did you graduate from high school, Josh?
97,
Okay. So,
last
So
century.
so
a year after me.
do your kids ever say like you were raised in the last century or
Hmm.
the 1900s?
Yeah, we have that conversation. Yeah.
It
Yes,
was
I've
so
heard.
last century.
Yeah, the junior high kids say that all the time to me at my
Yep.
church. Like, what was it like to be in the last century? And they just laugh. So the other thing is they like to ask me when my birthday is. 6'7".
Oh, well, now, so my height is 6'7". So people ask me how tall I am. I'm like, I'm 6'7", and I was 6'7" before 6'7" was 6'7". So,
I never put that
Wow.
together. So anyway, all right. Well, that's 2020's
right.
slang. So I guess that's a good segue into like, Josh, do you remember any 90s slang?
90s slang. We said rad a lot,
Oh, that's right.
didn't
That's
we?
rad.
Rad.
Brad.
Yeah.
Rad. Yeah.
And I think we did
Um,
not.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
that was
we'd
a
say
big one.
something and then say not afterwards. That's a cool shirt, Kevin. Not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I think
And a
that
lot
was
of your mom jokes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we already went over the time period where we called each other by our mother's names.
Yes, we did.
right,
Good
Debbie.
times.
Yep. Debbie, right here. Yep.
Debbie, Barb.
Debbie, Barb, and Donna here. That's right. So one of the things we like to do, Josh, is youth group memories. Uh, you got some good ones. We got to hear your perspective on the canoe mutiny. We've heard Levin LaRue's perspective. We have to
Yeah.
hear your perspective on that. So,
So, I actually went on two canoe trips, and the first one was there were only like three canoes. It was real small. I don't remember who all went. Um, hmm. But it was great. We were having lots of fun. We paddled. It was supposed to be an overnight, like canoe halfway, camp on a riverbank or something, and canoe the rest of the way. And um, we about 3 in the afternoon, we all of a sudden got to like the end of the river, and we were done. We did the whole thing in one day because we were just like goofing off and racing each other and stuff. And so then they picked us up and took us back to where we started, and we camped there and just played in the river the next day. And it was a
And
great trip. So then two
how
years
long was
later,
it?
we hyped it up and got a lot more people to go. And then the weather was terrible, and a, a, a lot of people were just kind of sissies about it. And then it turned into a disaster. Yeah.
And there were t-shirts involved.
We made some t-shirts apparently. I don't remember.
Yes, we made t-shirts of the 8 people that finished, and I took a picture and sent that to Matt for the podcast. But then
Nice.
you
Right.
made another t-shirt in the van that you only let me see. That's the t-shirt everybody really wants. Do you remember that? You remember what that t-shirt was?
My memory, like my long-term memory like that is not the best. So I vaguely remember making one, but I
You put their names on hot dogs and they acted like they were wiener sticks over the fire, and you begged that everybody could have a t-shirt. So you finished, I was going to buy you a t-shirt, and we have a cool shirt with all of us kind of like beavers paddling our
uh-huh.
canoes. But then you wanted to make the weenie shirts.
You should have combined the
and
two.
I kind of felt like we probably need to work to unity, not to
Yeah,
exclusion.
that's
So we
probably
never made the
probably
weenie shirts. So
that
so
there's
That's
one you don't have to apologize for, Kevin. That's probably a smart youth pastor play right there. Let's don't
25
make those
years
shirts.
later, you would want a weenie shirt, but it'd
right.
take 25 years for that not to
Yeah.
stink.
I went to
So,
therapy and all I got was this t-shirt.
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, so other memories. I just remember that canoe trip. That's my like.
The dog just opened
The
your door.
dog just walked. I have two dogs, and one of them just walked in. He feels like he owns the place.
Nice.
Probably wants to go with Matt's cat. Chase Matt's
Yeah.
cat
Oh,
because that cat
that
comes in
was
I
sometimes.
remember uh Kevin bought a bunch of Nerf arrows. And these were the kind that you would on the end of the arrow had a like a rubber band piece that you could put your thumb in, and then you could pull the arrow back and let it go. And the arrow was it was a foot long maybe. And they would fly like crazy. And then you bought, I don't know how many you bought, 100 of them or something.
Yep.
And
wow.
we just set up the whole church with like chair bunkers, and we would have massive Nerf arrow wars until some girl got hit in the face and would cry, and that'd be the end of it. And then, we'd do it again next week.
I don't think that was my plan, but that often happened.
It
Right.
was
And that wasn't in
great.
my lesson plan. We'll play till someone cries.
Yeah.
But that would actually often happen. Somebody
Yeah.
get hit in the eye, or
Yeah. Someone get hit in the eyeball. Yeah.
yeah, and no
We
no real
didn't, no
damage.
one worried about face protection back in the 90s
No.
or wore helmets
So
or anything like that. Yeah.
so along those lines, our pastor now was our youth pastor, and there was a time where he was the intern, and they were at camp or something, and they had played some game, and there was like these tires that they had out. Well, they figured out that the guys figured out they could take these tires and just wing them at each other. So you'd have these huge tires, and they would just wing them, and they would fly, and you hear ping. And apparently, one girl got in the way, and it took her out, and that was the end of that, or
That would
something.
just knock that could knock you down pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right.
But also my younger self would want to play that game.
Yeah.
Gotta admit. So so
Um, I remember we did a mission trip to Navajo Indian Reservation,
Mm.
and this was a pretty small trip too. And during the
Was that
day or during the mornings, we would do like a VBS, and we'd have to like drive the van all over the middle of nowhere to pick up kids and bring them to the church. And then we'd do a VBS with them. And in the afternoons, we'd drive up into the mountains, and Kevin would give us all chainsaws, and we'd
Oh,
cut
that's right.
firewood. And somehow nobody cut a toe off or cut a leg off or anything. I don't know how that happened, but we we survived without injury. That was the Holy Spirit totally watching over us.
Was
Um,
it you or Balzer that would like wake up the girls by banging pots and pans every day, and they would ask you to
Oh,
quit, and
we
that
probably
would
took
just
turns doing that.
and
Yeah.
that would embolden you to do more and more and more. And I would be like, "Come on, guys, give him a break today." And you'd be like, "Okay." And all of a sudden, one of you would
And then you wanted a
disappear.
haircut. You wanted a haircut, and we all wanted to give you a haircut, and you wouldn't let me or Balzer
Yeah,
do
I would
it.
not make
Yeah,
that bet today
one of the
either.
girls got to do it. We were not allowed.
Yeah, I would still not let you cut my hair,
Yeah.
Josh, even though you're a responsible pastor now.
You probably smart move.
you've
So,
never done, have you ever done the bald thing though? That's kind of like, isn't that a rite of passage?
yeah,
Of
once
just
at camp.
You
buzzing your
shaved your
hair
head off one
completely
time?
off?
Yep, once.
I've done it multiple times
Yeah,
in my
maybe
life.
twice.
My first time was finals week of freshman year in Mid-America. My friend and I decided this would be cool. Let's do it.
Some people have a nice head. I do not.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of lumpy.
I
So,
never I never shaved my head. I like you, I don't think I'd have a good head for it. I grew my hair out one time. When I first got married, I grew it out and had to kind of a not a big fro, but kind of like Keith Greenish kind of fro. But
man bun?
Over the
no, no man bun,
yeah,
never big enough for that.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
over the pandemic, I had a nice, puffy beard
Yeah.
that I grew out. I don't think I could get away with that now, but I
because
think
of your
Tammy,
wife or work?
my wife, I think
Okay.
she goes, I was a little more lenient because of the time, what
There
was
might have
going
been like
on.
a probably was somebody thought that'd keep COVID away. I mean, there were lots of theories. Like,
Hoard the toilet
I'm not trying
paper
to get
for what?
political, but there was a theory about everything.
Yeah, there probably was.
That it
Beard
Hoard
was
the toilet
protection.
probably
paper.
that probably COVID lived in beards, or COVID kept COVID away, or COVID came from beards. I mean, those were crazy times.
I actually made a controvert. I didn't think it was a controversial post, but I was informed by someone at church that it was a controversial post at the time. So when everybody was buying up the toilet paper and it was like ridiculous. It's like this is a respiratory virus. Why are we buying up toilet paper? So I stuck toilet paper in my ears and up my nostrils and in my mouth and took a picture of it and posted it to Facebook and I said, "Am I safe now?" or something like that. And I think somebody got frustrated that I was wasting toilet paper and it was
Oh,
so hard to find. But
I think
I
that's
mean,
pretty
if they would
funny.
have said something to me, I would have given them toilet paper. So I don't know why it was such a big deal at the time.
I forgot about the toilet paper shortage. You could only buy like
Yeah.
one roll at the grocery store at a
Yeah.
time for a while.
Or
So,
Costco.
yeah. So.
So, anyways,
Any
getting
other
away from
memories,
that.
Josh? Things stick out. I remember you and Andy Pankratz making sloppy joes for our leadership team and not draining the grease off. And I mean, today fat is not a big deal, but in the 90s we were all trying to do low fat. And I remember that particularly Andy's sister Karen was very bothered by your sloppy joes, which once again emboldened you to leave the grease in the sloppy joes. And I don't know if you remember that or not,
Oh
but
yeah, they tasted great. Yeah.
they were very flavorful, to be honest. But I think we were all worried we are gonna have to have Lipitor after that or
Yeah.
something. But I do remember
Can't
that.
Well,
can't do that anymore. I gotta watch my cholesterol now. I'm getting old enough for that.
So,
and
I
something
also
from
remember
our,
you were in multiple. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt.
it's okay. Something from our first recording was we came up with the opposite of that. It was the George Foreman grill, but it was the beef tallow grill.
That's
Oh yeah.
right.
And so Josh came up, and I'll put this on the recording too. Josh came up with a RFK, is it? Yeah, RFK billboard,
Yeah.
RFK beef tallow grill.
That's how we do it today, man.
You were ahead of your
Nice.
time. So,
Yeah. I
also,
could have made $1 million right there. Yeah.
how many bands were you two in together at Grace, and how many bands were you in high school? Because I remember you two playing together. I remember you playing at Berean with some guys. How many
Yeah,
different bands?
we had a worship team at Brian that played, and then Matt and I played
It
some.
was
We
you,
like led worship some at church, and then we also
did
did
you?
like oldies covers with Evan
Yeah,
and Andrew and Andy.
I
Yeah.
Beatles, Monkeys,
Uh-huh.
Brown Eyed
I'm a
Girl,
Believer, Brown Eyed Girl,
I'm a
yeah.
Believer. Yeah, those were fun. Good
That's at least
times.
three. Brian, uh, the guys from church, and then another probably worship team at church. So
Hmm.
that's at least three. So,
Yeah,
so
that's probably
I
it.
don't know if it was probably before then. I would get together with Greg Reimer and Robin Harder and just at my house, and Robin would play the keyboard, Greg would be on guitar, and I'd be on drums, and we'd just play songs.
did you guys enjoy those coffee houses? Seemed like you did.
Mhm.
Enjoyed doing leading worship? Was that stressful? I mean, I
Oh,
don't know if
I
it was
mean, we didn't know
Listen,
what we were doing.
we were just
So we
winging
didn't
it.
we didn't know how bad we were either.
Huh.
I remember one.
I don't remember thinking it was bad. So, so,
I
so
remember you wanted us to call ourselves Flag Men Ahead.
it's because I found a sign by the church and I thought it you could use the sign. That was the whole reason. I had a metal sign.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was
We
fun.
should
Yeah.
we should get together and just do an album cover just for the fun of it. Like
Let's make a
where are they
Flag
now?
Man
VH1.
Ahead cover. Yeah.
VH1. Yeah.
Yeah, I never could sell anybody. Even I remember trying to get Phil Tippin to call him his next band, Flagman Ahead. Nobody ever wanted that. Nobody ever wanted that name
So
just
that's
because
a
I had a
good
metal
band.
sign.
That's a good 90s band name.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Did we float the idea? I know you taught us the word for it, but did we float the idea of saying we were gumnos, which is Greek for, you told us was Greek for naked?
I think gave you that idea, but I don't think you did. Never decided to be Goomnos.
Gumnos, naked into the world we come.
Yeah. So there's a lot you could do with that. So
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
so so. Uh, I was gonna ask. So I went and heard Phil Wickham,
Hmm.
Hmm.
the contemporary Christian singer. By the way, I was not prepared for a 3 hour worship concert. I was just gonna sit there on this Friday night and listen, and like they stood most of the time. It was kind of a
Yeah.
shock to somebody
Oh,
my
wow.
age. I'm just and that's not a criticism about his music. I was just not ready. I didn't. I thought I was going to like a concert, not a church service. But anyway, it was really good. And he talked about how like formative it was in his faith to do music as a teen, and that's like he's here today because of that experience.
Hmm.
Did you feel like that gave you your buzz for that, or was that like,
Oh, it was definitely part of it, like playing worship music, and then like I would buy back then, like you could go to like the Christian bookstore and buy these um books that were like the music for Michael W. Smith or Rich Mullins or whatever. And it was somebody's attempt at putting those songs into piano charts.
hmm?
And they were kind
Hmm.
of sort of okay. They weren't great, but like they gave you something to start with. And so I bought a lot of those and Keith Green, and I learned a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, and just I don't, getting those songs in your head, I think you get a lot of like theology in your head that way too, you know?
Hmm. Do you feel like kids get to do that today, or does it become too professional?
Depends what church you're at.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So your kids have that experience, or maybe they don't want that experience. Because
Um, I tried to teach my kids piano, and it probably would have been better if I had paid someone else to do it. They they did it for a while and kind of got tired of it, and I got tired of pushing, and so.
Matt, your kids do lead worship at church, or part of it is a
Oh.
thing of size too. If you have a big youth group, it's harder than we weren't
True.
super huge, so
Yeah, I know Leva was at one point interested in learning guitar and she still has it. And I don't know that she practices much anymore. Um, but I know that was something she wanted to do and that she actually practiced as well. But it was never like a public type play out in front of people type of thing. For me on the drums, it was basically middle school. They had a time where they're like, we have all these instruments and parents can, and I can't imagine how much it costs because we didn't have a lot of money growing up either. But I was like, I want to play drums. So you would get like a snare drum and like a xylophone. You got like a snare drum and a xylophone, I think it was.
Hmm.
So you had to lug this huge, and it was like one of the bigger items. So if you have the snare drum in its case, you have to carry that around, and it's kind of heavy when you're that age.
Hmm.
So if you had a long distance to go, like down our driveway growing up,
That's a long driveway.
yeah. And then if the bus is there and you have to run because you're so
Like that's something from like the Die of a Wimpy Kid image.
Yeah.
right. Same with those big trash containers that you used to have to pull to the end of the driveway. The bus was there. I just ran and pulled it behind me and
Just be
got it to
glad
the
kids
end.
didn't have cameras back then to take pictures of that because that could have went viral.
Right, right. Yes,
Josh,
there's
you
so
also
many
shared a
things.
story about being at LBRC and
Yeah.
being on staff with a guy at LBRC.
So,
Oh yeah.
we went to LBRC several times in Yac, and I remember one year we were there, and like you would be in our cabin with us, and then they'd always pair us. They'd give us like a college kid to be a cabin leader, and we had this college kid who was from Florida, and he was kind of surfer dude kind of vibes, and said like dude all the time. And my one memory from of him was we were playing football, like tackle football in the living room of the cabin, and he hiked the ball up into the ceiling light and busted the light, and glass shattered everywhere. And we thought it was hilarious that the staff person was the one who caused the damage. Um, so anyway, fast forward, out of college, I start working at a church called Fellowship Bible Church, here in Northwest Arkansas, and a guy comes up to me and he says, "Josh Graber, dude, do you remember me?" And I look at him and I'm like,
This is probably
no."
like 6 years later, right? I mean, it's like six
Oh,
years.
oh, like yeah, 8 years later, maybe. I think this we were in maybe in junior high.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
you know,
Oh.
so at this point I'm like 22 or something. And he's like, "I'm Derek Horn, L Bar C." And I look at him again, like, "You broke the light." And he didn't remember that story. So I told him that story and he's like, "You're right, I did." So anyway, so we worked together on staff for a while. And it's cool. He's a cool guy. So, and he still said dude, and had
Still surfer dude. I remember
still a
that guy. I
surfer
don't
dude
remember,
at
couldn't
heart.
have
Yeah.
told you his name, but I remember
Yeah.
that guy. Once you start to describe him, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
He was fun to work with, actually.
Yeah. And he was on staff as one of the youth leaders there at that church.
That would make
And
sense.
yeah, and he was fantastic at it.
So,
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was kind of a fun like flashback to youth group. I remember we played four men on a couch a lot.
especially in Sunday
Okay.
school.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
in
Yep.
Sunday school, we'd finish Sunday, whatever lesson you were teaching, and I guess if we paid attention enough, which the bar was pretty low, then we could play four men on a couch at the end. So we've taught our kids that game, and they play it with their friends and stuff. So
So
That's a good
just to
game
re
unless you're ADHD and you don't pay attention.
yeah,
Like so, I would never know where anybody was.
yeah, it's
So,
hard. You're just
but
guessing.
but
Yeah,
there were always people who were
so
really paying attention and they would cheat and tell you what to say.
yeah.
So they would mouth the words or something or
so for those
use.
of you who did not know what that is, we would have the youth group room and we'd have couches and chairs and I think benches and stuff. And what would happen is would we start with two girls and two guys on the couch
Mhm.
Hmm.
and we wanted to make it four of whoever, whichever team. So everybody wrote their name on a piece of paper, put it in like a hat or something, and everybody pulled out a random name so it's not your own name. So then whoever's to the was it the right or the left of the empty seat, there's one empty seat. would be the guesser and they would say a name. And if you had that name on the paper, you would go sit next to them and then each of you would swap names. So it wouldn't be easy to figure out who was who. And you'd go until you've had four guys on a couch or four girls on a
Do you
couch.
guys remember anybody that's particularly good at that? Because I think you two were pretty good at it, but I was not particularly good at it. I don't pay attention well enough.
I
So I
don't remember.
think Robin Harder was particularly good at that.
That sounds right.
Probably.
Yeah.
She could kind of focus and that kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that mesmerized us, but we played that a lot. So yes, that
I
was the
also
incentive
remember,
to let me get through my lesson, or whoever was the high school teacher at the
Yeah.
time could get through a lesson. So
I also remember in the youth room we had the wall that was like you could draw on,
mhm.
and like it was just filled with stuff. And I think we were told that eventually they would paint over it and we would be able to do it again, but I don't think it ever got painted because there was so much stuff on there. So many pictures and words and phrases and so like so and that kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure it got
Like
painted now.
probably. Does that
At some
room still
point.
exist?
Yeah.
And so it's used for something. I have been down there for a while. I mean, usually when there's a funeral or something, I kind of wander around a little bit and just haven't been there for a few years. But um,
I I'd visited and I was in their new sanctuary, but that was like a total new building. So I didn't go to any of the old building
I've
where
been
we
in the
used to
fellowship
be.
hall or sanctuary, the old sanctuary or whatever sanctinasium or family center, I think we
Yeah.
called it. I've
Oh,
been in
okay.
that for funeral meals and stuff. So,
Hmm.
so I mean, it has a new surface and a new paint, but it looks pretty similar. I mean, taken good care of it, and you know, couldn't expect the same paint to last 30 years or carpet.
Right,
So,
right.
but it looks really nice. So, Josh, you probably
Well,
get
that's
back more
good.
than the other two of us because you go see your folks. Of course, you're a
Yeah.
pastor, so
Yeah.
you
I've
don't have
been I've been
Sundays off.
back every Christmas we go and we'll attend church. And
So,
yeah.
I get back for funerals, but I haven't been back for a little while. So, probably been a year and a half or so. Well, Alan DeMoss's funeral. So,
Hmm.
so, so.
Kevin likes to go to churches and tries to get your parents excommunicated.
Yep. I
He went to
visited his
college.
parents' church because I know the pastor. So I tried to get his parents excommunicated, but apparently you
Did
need
he?
College.
some kind of grounds or something.
Yeah. You
Some
didn't go
random
for it, huh?
guys. Can't just
Big big donation.
so I just thought I could go into the pastor's office and recommended excommunication and they would kick his parents out. But he wouldn't do it.
Mm,
So
that's pretty
so
funny.
They're untouchable.
so so well, good stuff, Josh. I just remember you having a good balance in youth group of being able to have fun and also like take things seriously and study the scripture. So, which I
Mhm.
think has served you well in life. So I just appreciate that about you as a student. So
Thanks.
we could
I
have a lot of
I
fun, and then you could sting a kid with a finger blaster, and and then quiet down and lead worship after that.
and
So,
we played a lot of basketball. We'd lower the goals and do a lot of small goal basketball.
well, I'd get there early and let you guys play, and then we'd stay
Hmm.
late and play. And I just remember, you know,
Didn't you
Sunday
have
nights were
like
like kind of social before and social after, and basketball or whatever was part of that. So
Yep.
people would bring guitars and play. It was fun.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of
wasn't
free
there
space. So
was it you guys that talked about the basketball that there was no rules or whatever? Or was that someone a different episode?
Raleigh Walter talked about that. He had
Yeah.
no rules
Oh, okay.
basketball.
Yeah.
Where you could like
So
move the goal or
Move the goals. Oh
something.
man.
remember we played with like the 36-inch ball sometimes.
Oh wow.
They could barely get it in the rim. So so I remember that, and people didn't like that game very well because it
Because
pretty
it's
much meant
impossible.
it
Yeah.
was almost impossible. Other than a slam dunk, it was possible. Real quick question: do you still design shoes?
Yes, that's a
N-
good question.
Yeah. And
You
no. Nike, if you're listening and you want me to design shoes, give me a job and I'll do it.
I
Yeah.
just remember you had like sweet designs in high school. Like
Oh, I
you
love
would
doing it. That was my
you would be ahead. Like you would design something and then sure enough, 6 months later, they would come up with something like that or something.
That was my dream job in high school is to go off and work for
Yep.
Nike.
They're
So
based out of here where I live,
yeah, they're
Beaverton,
close to
Oregon,
you. Yeah.
along
Okay.
with Leica, who does all the stop motion animation,
So do you
like
collect
squirrel.
shoes, Josh? Is that like a thing?
No, I don't have the money to do that kind of stuff. I work at a church.
Yeah. So,
Well, you never know. Could be a mega church.
hey, if you're watching this and you have Air Jordans you'd like to donate to Josh, we will we can
You
make
could
that happen. Just
My
throw your
yeah,
address up.
my favorite pair of shoes. I telling my son the other day because we buy him some basketball shoes and it's like the favorite pair of shoes I ever owned was a pair of Air Jordans that I got it. They were on some crazy clearance sale at some store in downtown Newton that wouldn't normally sell them, and somehow they had them and had them at half price. And
Was it the outlet mall?
no, it was like some sporting goods store downtown that was normally like
Hmm.
hunting and fishing stuff. But for
Oh,
some reason, they
interesting.
had a pair of Air Jordans on their clearance rack one day when I went in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were expensive in the 90s. They're still
Oh yeah.
expensive. So,
They're
so,
they're even more expensive now. And they're
and it,
releasing all the old ones again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What size of shoe do you wear now, just in case?
11. Men's
11. Okay.
11. Yeah.
but
Men's
if they were a
11
pair of
shoe.
Jordans, you'd wear two pairs of socks if you had to wear 12.
Sure. Oh, totally. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
wouldn't, you'd do a little shoe pinch for 10, would
Well,
you?
and
We'd
if
go
they're
10 to
big
12
enough,
here.
my son wears size 13, so if they're bigger, I'll just give them to him and he'll love them.
Okay. All right. So if
Yeah.
you got Jordans at home and you want to get rid of them, we can do this in the podcast. I don't think that's going to pan out, but you never know. So
Probably not.
you never know. So hey, so like transition, like you did something after 1997. Like
Yeah.
you went to John Brown
So I went to JBU in
and you got married. We
Arkansas.
know that. So like give us a life update, kind of like
Yeah, so I went
where
to
the life where
JBU. I studied digital media, which is like art on computers. So
and that
film,
was really new in
video,
97, right? That
huh?
was kind of
Yeah, it was brand new. I first class. So it was film, video,
That's
graphic
true.
design, web development, 3D animation, all that kind of stuff. So did that. I met my wife in college and kind of took 4 years to convince her to like me. And that's what happens when you marry up. You have to try harder. And
we all
then
three understand that.
a- after college, married her and started working at Fellowship Bible, doing um, media stuff for them, starting their communications team, and then also leading worship for them for a lot of different venues and stuff. And so did that for a while, and then moved down to Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is just 30 minutes away, at a different church that's kind of a sister church called New Heights, and been there ever since. Was the worship pastor for many years, and now I oversee communications and technology for him. And Stacy and I have two kids. One just graduated from high school, and one's going to be in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're great. Love them.
And your daughter's going to Mid America.
Daughter's
Oh no
going
no no
to
no.
daughter's
Nazarene,
Point
California.
Loma, Point
Point
Loma
Loma. That's it.
Nazarene in San Diego. Yeah,
Nice.
she got a crazy God story for her. She had applied. That was her like number one pick. We didn't even know about it. We were visiting some friends out there, and they said, "Hey, there's a college like just over the hill. We should go check it out." So they took us over there, and she fell in love with it right away. And who wouldn't? It's on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Apparently where James Dobson went to school.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So anyway, so she applied there, got accepted, but the financial aid just wasn't enough for us. So we were looking at other schools, and then out of the blue, they came back to her one day and just said, "Hey, financial aid officer or her admissions counselor called her and said, I didn't even know we ever did this, but we're giving away a full ride this year, and you get it." And
Oh my
so
gosh,
she's able to go, and so
that's
it's
amazing.
It's
amazing.
awesome.
So yeah, so I
That's
told her I was
great.
like, you could have gotten this right at the beginning, and you would have thought like your hard work did this. But instead, God wanted to show you that he loves you and he wants to give you good gifts. And so that's why he made you wait. You had to learn patience, learn to trust in him, and then he gave it to you. And so now you know it's his to give. So
What's she
That's
going
a
to
good
major in,
point.
Josh?
she wants to major in marketing and minor in art.
Okay,
Yep.
good for her. Good for her. Okay, Matt, as a Nazarene grad of a college, what advice do you have for her? So,
Oh, I have great advice. So, when she's there, they talk about the MRS degree and all that.
Hmm.
So when dating a boy, I had this done to me. If she's going to break up with the boy, do not use the line, I don't think God wants us to be together. Because I was like, okay, God obviously told you something. What was the reason? It's just kind of like that was the kind of a cop out reason, like at a Christian
Uh-huh.
university is like, I don't think God wants us to be together. Okay, did he give you details? I mean, I would like to improve.
He didn't tell me that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can can
which
I?
is worse, that breakup line or a text? Which would be worse?
Oh, I don't know. We didn't have texting when I was in college. That's a good point. I mean, you could do like
Instant messenger?
ICQ, instant message. Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
Uh, what if it's like a text message saying, I don't think God wants us to be together.
Oh, that's a double.
That's a double. Yeah.
That's a double. That's a double.
So I
Yeah,
would
well,
say
I went
give
to
them,
Taylor, and the girls would use the line that don't think it's God's will or something like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
okay,
Play the God card. Kind of
it's hard to
cool.
argue with that.
Yeah.
So, so, or they just get married or something on break or something. That would be,
right.
Come back with a ring. That's
yeah. I
hilarious.
had friends that would happen too. Like they were connected to their old boyfriend over
Yeah.
Christmas break.
I will
That's
say
kind of that's kind of a stopper.
Yeah.
we did have good breakup music though. We had a lot of Genesis and Phil Collins, Invisible Touch, Easy Lover. Uh,
What about scabies? Any advice to Navarine?
Maybe
Only time I
don't
ever
get them.
visited, I was had a conference in Kansas City, so I went to see Matt at his dorm in college. The only time I saw him the whole time he was in college, and there was a was it scabies?
It was just our room, I think. We
And
had
there
like
was a room on his floor that had a scabies epidemic.
it was
Oh
our
my
room.
goodness.
Was it your room?
I think it was our room because there was like our friend group like had scabies. It
Is that
was I've
standard at
never
Nazarene colleges, or
I don't
are they pretty good hygienically? I think Josh wants to know the answer to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to know.
I think
What do
it
I need to
depends
prep
on
her
the
for?
dorm. I think if you're in the guys' dorm, it's gonna stink and there's gonna be bugs or something. But if you're in the
Okay.
girls' dorm, it'll probably smell nice and be very cleanly and I
Apparently
don't think
at
that
Point Loma years ago, they had a bed bugs.
mm,
Uh, am I getting this right? I think they had a bed bugs outbreak. And so now they have a really strict policy. Apparently, one of the top policies in the nation on college campuses on what you can and can't bring so that they
Huh.
mm.
don't get bed bugs again. So,
I've
So
heard
do
really
they
wonderful things about the college, and I have been there. It's beautiful. I was on a recruiting trip for the college I work for in
point
LA, and I just went down to see it for a day, and it was
yeah.
amazing. So just for something to do is like I'll just go down and see a Christian college. And the baseball diamond is like you hit the ball and it go in the ocean.
Yeah, you hit a home run and you're in the ocean. You're swimming for it. Yeah.
But it's gorgeous. So it's a beautiful
so
college.
maybe Kevin, you can speak to this, and Josh, you can too. When I was in college, at least at a Christian university college, we would have open dorm nights. I think it was like Thursday night and Sunday night, where if you're a guy, you could go over to the girls' dorm, or if you're a girl, if you wanted to brave it, you could go to the guys' dorm. But like you had to have your door open 90 degrees. Everybody had to be
Vertical.
sitting or
Yeah.
vertical, yeah. And you'd have people that had to sign up to walk around. Which, thinking about it now, if you're really trying to get away with something, you would probably close your door, lock it, and play loud music or something. And there would be no way to check. So, but maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't want to give other
I
college.
don't really think people in that demographic listen to our show.
No,
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
probably safe.
We're probably
Okay.
safe because
Yeah.
we're probably talking to a bunch of 40-year-olds. And if they're still
Yeah,
living
I
in,
remember open dorm nights, and you're right. It much more often the guys would go to the girls' dorm than the other way around.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
How
Taylor,
did it
they'd
work?
make cookies and stuff. They'd like put out a hospitality suite. Like they'd
Wow.
make cookies and have like there'd be like a girls' dorm would advertise they had cookies or trail mix or Chex Mix or something, and
Oh man,
you would go.
they're
So
So
trying hard, huh?
yeah. So
is it
so
kind of like the Odyssey with the sirens are trying to
yeah.
lull
Well,
you
it
in?
was the '80s. It was even things were more boring than the '90s, so you could had time to
That's
make
true.
Chex Mix or
Well,
so.
now most Christian universities, and I think maybe most universities in general are a lot more female heavy than male. So
Mm,
um, like I think Point Loma is 60-40.
wow.
So
That's a little.
Emory's going to
That's
have her work cut out for her.
so when you guys, well, like when my mom went to Mid-America and my uncle, they had like, you'd have one phone for the whole hall. So like somebody would answer the phone and they'd yell, "Hey, so and so, you got a phone call." But by the time we got there, they had phone hookups in each room, and now I assume that everybody has a cell phone, so it's not even a thing anymore.
We had two phones, and it was real fun to dial one guy to dial one on phone and the other one, and then flip them around and have them talk to each other and listen to the conversation because people will be confused. I'm very confused. So if you could imagine, Matt, you calling a friend and Josh calling a friend, and then we flipping the phones around and they would both answer each other and begin to talk, and they would think the phone system was messed up. That's how bored we were in the '80s. We would do that for hours and just laugh and laugh and laugh. And you would often call people, like you had no relationship with, but then somebody you did, and so you listen to the conversation.
That's funny.
That's
So,
hilarious.
so yeah, well, I
What
mean,
are what are some crazy things you guys did in college?
we had a tile section between two carpet sections, and people would soap that up and slide on that. And but you had to bail out before you hit the other carpet section,
Oh,
Ooh,
or you
ouch.
would get a major burn. And often guys were like trying to see if they go all the way across or how fast they would go, and then all of a sudden they'd get this humongous carpet burn. And so it was fun to watch guys slide, but it was also fun to see them eat it.
yeah, even better if they get
It ate it.
yeah.
What
So
about you, Josh?
Um, we would go skinny dipping in the creek behind the school, midnight in the winter.
that's still
Oh,
a thing at John Brown, or is
I have no idea.
okay. So
Yep.
guess you could.
Yeah.
oh, we forgot your Jay Alvin story about the toilets. Your T-shirt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
we had a t-shirt we had a t-shirt contest for J Alvin, the guy's dorm, and I won the t-shirt contest. And on I to this day I cannot believe the administration approved us making these shirts, but the front of the shirt has a architectural drawing of a urinal, and then the back of it says, "We've got him, J Alvin." And we were the one dorm on campus that had urinals. All the other dorms didn't, and so that
And
was the
you
shirt.
sent us that. We'll try to
Yeah,
post that in our
Yeah, I've got a.
picture.
I think
yeah,
it's
I
in
still have the shirt.
email
Yeah,
that email thread. I'll have to get all the pictures out of the thread.
yeah.
The
Somehow I remember like you guys did Biff stuff, and I came kind of right at the end of Biff.
didn't you
But
say you're the one that made the bull
yeah, I
or
made
the
a yak
yak?
logo.
Yep.
It was a yak with big horns, and then he was blowing smoke out of his nostrils, and it said yak underneath or something.
Yep. Why
I
did we just
remember
switch?
that.
We just switched branding. We rebranded
Yeah,
when you came.
I
We were
guess
that's
ahead of our
true.
times.
I don't have any yak branded stuff anymore.
I'll have to look at my
Yeah.
T-shirt archives, but
Josh, Josh, were you around when Kevin would send out that newsletter, the Yak newsletter, or was that
Mm,
before your time?
Yak Zine, 3 times a year,
I don't think so.
fall, spring, and summer.
And
I think
he'd
that
put
was
his
before
phone
me.
number on it, and he would like have fake ads, and
Oh no, yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
I would call him, and I'd play like I was a different character because I was a nerd.
Yeah, it was just an excuse to send a calendar, but we just made weird stuff all around the calendar.
Yeah, yeah, you filled it with just goofy.
Was it Yolanda was the advice column or something?
Yeah, which was
Yeah, there
Raleigh
was an
basically.
advice column. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So.
and it was all just dumb stuff. Yeah. Do you have any of those still?
Oh, I don't think. I mean, I'll have to look in my file cabinet. If I do, it's by accident, but I
Yeah.
might. So every
I
now and then
think
I
the
find something. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I kept this, or like, why do I still have this? So, so yeah, I would do those 3 times a year for the fall, spring, and summer. So your
Um,
parents would have a calendar, but then I was like, you just can't send a calendar out. You got to do some goofy stuff around it. So,
yeah.
so that was the
I
old style
remember
where you'd cut out magazines and tape everything, and it
mhm,
just,
like a serial killer.
yeah, look, yes, yes. So, so one last thing, Josh, is that you like have a unique hobby, like kind of exegesis, uh, like
I
digging
like
into
to
past
read.
information.
I like to read ancient Near Eastern literature or
Yep.
stuff
So
around the
explain how that
Bible.
like is like what you've done with that, because that was
Yeah.
fascinating.
So Dad took a trip to Israel years and years and years ago. He and Mom did, and it just rocked his world. And so he, for several years, was like, "You've got to go, you've got to go, you've got to go." And finally, we figured out a trip that I could go on, and he went with me, and it was like that scene from The Wizard of Oz where you're watching it in black and white, and then she opens the door, and then it's in color, and
Hmm.
that's how going to Israel was. Um, I think that was the first color movie they ever showed in theaters. So I
Mhm.
can't imagine
Mm.
being back in the day and actually like experiencing that. I'm sure, the audiences were just gasping in awe at it. Um, but that's what
Just
Israel was. You're there
a
and
minor,
you're,
sorry.
huh?
I
Oh,
was
good.
going to say a little Easter egg with that is I think my family, my when we would watch Wizard of Oz, was saying they used to on TV wait until the first time they saw the Emerald City before they made it into color, but then at some point they moved it back to when she
Huh.
stepped out of the house. So sorry,
Hmm.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. So, um, that's how going to Israel was for me. And like I realized there was this whole world around the Bible that I didn't really had never thought about before. And a lot of that world was people writing. So, around the time of Jesus, there were a lot of rabbis who were writing stuff, and there were other scribes who were writing things. You probably heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and there's a bunch of others. And some
Like
of them are really,
Josephus.
yeah, Josephus is a historian back then. Some of those, and they're asking the same questions that we're asking. Like um, when Adam and Eve like were kicked out of the garden, and they had Cain and Abel. Who did Cain and Abel marry? Like, how did they get
Right.
wives? Like they're asking those kinds of questions that you read, and you're like, well, what's going on here? Um, and they have sometimes really interesting answers for this kind of
Hmm.
stuff that they're thinking about and meditating on. And of course, the story is written in their language and in their culture, and so they know it a lot better than we do. Um, so
So you've
I
written some Sunday school materials with
yeah,
this,
so
or
I got into studying all that stuff, and so I've taught some classes on um, uh, rabbinic ways to read the Bible.
huh?
Um, they kind of have you look at Bible stories, and the writers of the Bible like to use like Easter eggs. That's how I like to think of it. Like in a movie, like
Mhm.
Star Wars or something, where it's a movie that's been going on. There's a series, you know, the writers will
Yeah.
put in Easter eggs of
Yeah,
something,
sure, sure.
something in
Like
like episode five that like points back at episode one that only if you're like the super nerd you pick up, oh, that was Chewbacca's thing that he did way back in episode, whatever.
mhm.
And if you're just a casual viewer, you don't even notice, but if you're really into it, you pick up on those things and they like illuminate the story even more and make it come to life even more. So the biblical writers do that too. and they do that with all these little design tricks and repeated words and patterns and things.
Hmm.
And when you start like noticing those and asking the question, like you read a story and you ask the question, what else is like this? And then you start thinking about those themes. Um, there's a man and a woman in a garden and there's a source of life like a river or something, and they're having a conversation. Well, that happens a lot of places in the Bible, in beginning with Genesis, 1 and 2. And every
Hmm.
time that happens again, um, we should think about the other times it happens and notice, how it's the same and how it's different. And so those kinds of things are real fun to go treasure hunting for.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah,
That's
so I've
good.
taught some classes and have some of them online and um, written some stuff. So yeah, it's
So
fun.
can you send us some links to those so we can post those?
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
so that'd be really cool.
yeah.
You're gonna write a book
Um,
or
I
blog or
I've written most of one on the life of Joseph, the Old Testament character of Joseph, and kind of how he
he's a
points us.
foreshadow of Jesus for
Oh,
sure.
totally, totally,
So
totally. Yeah, yeah. And in lots of weird ways that we don't even think about.
hmm.
But the rabbis noticed, and
Huh.
or they didn't necessarily notice that was pointing to Messiah, but sometimes they did. But
Huh.
then Jesus comes around and they miss him, even though they
Huh.
choose not to believe.
Huh.
So like one of them, Joseph, he's thrown into the pit by his brothers, and then the Midianite traders come by, and it tells us what the traders are carrying, and I don't remember what it is, but it's sweet smelling spices. That's and we don't think anything of it, like whatever, they're traders and they've got goods. But the rabbis say, oh, no, this is weird because the Midianites they're always carrying stinky stuff, tar and just stuff that doesn't smell good. But here they're not carrying that. They're carrying sweet smelling spices. So why? And they
Hmm.
say, well, it's to honor Joseph, who is going to be the savior of the world. And then you look at that and you're like, well, who traveled a far distance to Jesus carrying sweet smelling spices to honor him as the
Right.
savior of the world?
Hmm.
The Magi did that. And so they're just the little connections that are kind of fun that,
Huh.
yeah.
So you have a book on Joseph or almost a book on Joseph?
Almost a book on Joseph. If I can get around to finishing the last couple chapters, maybe I'll publish it. But
Very cool.
Cool.
Very cool. So yeah, send us a couple links to some of your blogs or
Yeah.
online lessons that you share or
sure. Yeah, I got a
Google
couple
Docs or
video
whatever.
lessons I can send you.
That'd be cool.
I'll
So,
I'll
Yeah.
put a QR code up so people
so,
could scan it.
so. Well, Josh, it was good to do this twice. Sorry, Matt, about the technology glitches.
Hopefully this
Um,
one
It's all
works.
right.
We'll see.
so I think we are supposed to have two conversations. So I think it's been great. But we're getting to almost an hour, so it's probably time we better
Yeah.
sign
Thank
off.
Kevin. Uh one memory I have of you is pizza Pizza Hut Bible studies.
Oh yeah, in the summer, power
That's
lunch.
right.
Power lunch. Yeah. You always did a great job of bringing fun, but also like bringing spiritual content.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and you know, I think churches are better at this now than maybe they were back in the 90s, but a lot of church back then was boring.
Hmm.
And you were never boring.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so you taught us that like it, there's joy in following Jesus.
Oh,
And that was something that was a big walk away for me. So
oh,
thank you.
thank you. Very kind. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So thanks.
I remember when Kevin preached one Sunday, and I don't remember what you were preaching on, but I remember you were talking about Beavis and his friend. You wouldn't say butthead during a
That was
sermon.
probably radical for Grace Community at that point. You probably could pull it off today, but
You also one time said you were telling a story about you and a college roommate and how you were wanting to like go to Hawaii or something, and you're like, supermodels need Jesus too.
Yep, we tried to start a ministry that didn't get off the ground. ESMO, Evangelical Swimsuit Model Outreach, but the college would not endorse it. There were lots of guys in the dorm that wanted to do the short-term trips. I mean, I've never seen such spiritual hunger.
Oh my. Oh,
Nixed by the administration.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They just didn't see the vision.
they didn't have vision. I think they did see the vision. I think that's why.
Maybe they saw the vision better than you.
I think they saw for what it really was.
Yeah.
So,
well,
alrighty. Hey, good talking to you guys. Have a good evening. So,
thanks everyone.
thanks.
It was great.
Matt, it worked out.
Yeah. See y'all.
Love you guys. Bye bye.